An ordinary night in Nuevo León turned into a nightmare. From the Alcosa Transport Company to the Nueva Castilla Motel, every camera captured the final steps of Debanhi Escobar before she lost her life to a head injury. To this day, the investigation into Debanhi Escobar's death is still open to determine the cause and to find the culprit. Evidence continues to bring new unknowns to the air. And when the mystery was finally uncovered, the one responsible for this tragedy faced the harshest judgment of all. Justice was no longer silent. Surrounding the young woman, Debanhi Susana Escobar Bazaldua, born on September 4, 2003. At the time, she was 18 years old and a law student at the University of Nuevo León in Monterrey. Debanhi was raised in a loving family under the care of her adoptive parents, Mario Escobar and Dolores Bazaldua, where she was nurtured with genuine care and affection. Those who knew her described Debanhi as energetic, friendly, devoted, and full of dreams for the future. Friends often remembered her for her gentle, witty, and approachable personality, with a kind smile that brought comfort and warmth. Her kindness, respect for others, and positive attitude helped Debanhi build deep connections, making her someone loved and trusted by everyone around her. Everything began on Friday, April 8, 2022, when Debanhi decided to attend a gathering with two friends at the Quinta Diamante estate in General Escobedo. Around 11 p.m., she left her home in the La Enramada neighborhood of Apodaca, Nuevo León, feeling excited for a fun evening full of anticipation and enthusiasm. Her two friends, Sarai and Yvonne, came to pick her up to go to the party taking place on Simón Bolívar Street in downtown San Nicolás de los Garza. Just a few minutes later, at 11:30 p.m., a convenience store camera recorded the three girls buying drinks for the gathering, a seemingly ordinary moment that later became a key clue in the chain of mysterious events. Afterwards, the group decided to move on to another party just a few steps away, but unfortunately, the door was silently locked, preventing them from entering. With no other options, they continued to another gathering in Nueva Castilla, in the Las Quintas area of Escobedo, near the office of the Attorney General of the Republic, hoping for a safe and enjoyable evening. To get there, the friends called a taxi through the Didi platform, and the car arrived to pick them up at 12:49 a.m. Upon reaching the Quinta Venecia villa, they realized the party had already ended, but undeterred. They walked a few steps along Via de Numancia Street and discovered another gathering taking place at the Quinta El Diamante Villa. Security cameras captured the girls getting out of a white Kia Rio at around 1:20 a.m., with only Sarai and Debanhi stepping out, while Yvonne went with another group of friends already at the party, marking the final moments before the tense and mysterious events began to unfold. After getting out of the car at the Quinta El Diamante Villa, the friends walked to the entrance of the villa to join the gathering. Although they didn't know anyone there, they were welcomed, and everything initially seemed normal. Just 9 minutes later, cameras recorded Debanhi walking along the sidewalk in the opposite direction of the entrance. Then, after a few seconds, turning back along the same path, capturing ordinary moments before the tense events began. Around 3:45 a.m., surveillance footage showed Debanhi running out of the villa while a young man tried to hold her back. In this situation, she reacted strongly, striking him and attempting to pull away, but was blocked, leading to an argument. Immediately after, Sarai and another young man approached to see what was happening, and this confrontation drew in a group of other youths gathered nearby, with one later claiming that Debanhi bit him when he tried to calm her, creating a tense and chaotic atmosphere for the following minutes. A few minutes before the tense incident, around 3:29 a.m., Yvonne contacted the Didi driver to have him return and pick up the group. Earlier that evening, she had obtained his phone number to ensure everyone could get home safely after the party. The driver replied that he was nearby and would arrive within 15 minutes. At 3:55 a.m., security cameras recorded a white car arriving to pick up the girls. Immediately, Debanhi approached and got into the back seat, while Sarai and the others stood near the driver to give directions, and he drove off, leaving Debanhi's friends at the party, marking the last moments she spent with them. Then, at 4:17 a.m., another camera recorded the car, showing a clear confrontation between Debanhi and the Didi driver, as she reacted strongly, waving her hands and expressing her disagreement. Just 8 minutes later, around 4:25 a.m., the driver sent a message to Debanhi's friend stating that she had gotten out of the car and did not want to continue the ride, while also taking a photo that quickly spread on social media, becoming the first sign of the mysterious and tense chain of events that unfolded that night. The driver stated that Debanhi became very agitated and requested to get out of the car, unable to force her to continue. He took a photo as evidence showing her standing by the roadside, while Debanhi's friends were confused, unsure what to do, and suggested he call a patrol car. However, the driver replied that he had to leave because he was working, and just a few minutes after turning back onto the avenue, Debanhi had disappeared, leaving a void filled with worry and uncertainty. He immediately informed her friends so they could take action, marking the beginning of a progressively mysterious and tense series of events, where every passing minute heightened concern for Debanhi's safety and left her family and friends feeling powerless and bewildered, uncertain about what had happened to her on that fateful night. In the early hours of that morning, the Didi driver recounted that Debanhi was in a highly unstable state, displaying actions and words that were difficult to understand, including threatening to cause him trouble because her parents were lawyers. A few minutes earlier, Debanhi's friends had tried to contact her parents but received no response, and when the driver offered her his phone to call her mother, she refused. By 5:16 a.m., the conversations between the driver and Debanhi's friends had ended, and from that moment on, no one knew where Debanhi was or what had happened, creating a period of mystery and tension where every passing minute heightened the worry for her friends, family, and the wider community, leaving everyone feeling powerless and bewildered over her disappearance. The following day, Debanhi's friends contacted her father to ask for news, but there was no information. Her disappearance was immediately reported, and her photo quickly spread on social media, sparking an urgent search. What was known was that Debanhi had attended a party with 2 friends, but they later left, leaving her alone that night. On the same day, April 9th, during the search, the body of another young woman named Maria Fernanda Contreras was discovered in a house in Apodaca. And this was just one of 5 other women found within a few days, shocking the local community. In just 6 days, 5 women went missing and were found, creating an unprecedented atmosphere of worry, tension, and unease. According to initial investigations, around 7:30 a.m., a young man saw Debanhi walking toward Apodaca and claimed to recognize her based on the outfit in the photo circulating on social media. On April 12th, the taxi driver allegedly involved in taking the photo, named Jesus N., 46 years old, from San Luis Potosi, was arrested in the Pilares area of Salinas, Victoria, after some people noted that he had multiple complaints of harassment and may have made Debanhi uncomfortable, which was why she got out of the car. However, according to the police, the arrest was based solely on his anxious demeanor and suspicious behavior when shown the photo. And after several days, investigators cleared him from the case as no evidence linked him to the incident. And it was also determined that he was not the person who took the circulating photo. This development further confused the public and highlighted the complexity and difficulties in investigating the final hours before Debanhi disappeared. 2 days later, a girl who had attended the party where Debanhi was present shared on her Instagram account that some people had tried to help Debanhi, offering to take her home to ensure her safety. However, she also stated that Debanhi's friends, Yvonne and Sarai, did not agree, believing that a trusted person would come to pick her up. From this point, the story took a significant turn, as Debanhi's friends began to be viewed as primary suspects in her disappearance, creating an extremely unusual situation. Over the following days, the case grew increasingly complex, heightening public concern, and on April 15th, a reward of 100,000 pesos was announced for anyone providing information on Debanhi's whereabouts. At this point in the investigation, nothing was certain. It was not until April 18th that the Nuevo León prosecutor's office released a video showing Debanhi at 4:29 a.m., just 4 minutes after the driver had taken her photo, walking toward the Alcosa International Freight Company. She was seen walking on the median and attempting to cross the street. When a car passed, she dodged it and stepped back onto the median. After crossing, Debanhi moved toward the front of the company and disappeared from view. Based on these images, many believed she may have gone to the company seeking help. Although security cameras did not record her entering or exiting the company, this was the last confirmed sighting of her, raising public suspicion that the company could be involved while still leaving hope that she might be alive. On April 19th, authorities conducted a search of the Alcosa Freight Company, inspecting vehicles and trailers and gaining access to all security cameras, but found nothing unusual. At the same time, a search was carried out at an apartment in the Condominio Constitucion in downtown Monterrey, about 13 miles from where Debanhi was last seen, after information suggested that apartment number 18 might contain personal belongings related to her. 2 days earlier, Debanhi's GPS had recorded activity in this area as well as at the corner of the Nueva Castilla motel. The following day, authorities, along with volunteer groups and search dogs, conducted searches along the highway, a small creek, and a water-filled pit outside a vacant lot adjacent to the Nueva Castilla motel, near the Laredo Highway, where she was last seen. Monterrey water and drainage personnel also assisted in draining the pit, but after completing the operation, they found nothing, leaving many unanswered questions about Debanhi's final whereabouts. On April 21st, at the request of Mario Escobar, Debanhi's father, a team from the National Search Commission was deployed along with volunteer groups at the site. Although the search expanded to surrounding areas by the afternoon, staff at the Nueva Castilla motel reported a strange, foul odor coming from one of the unused water tanks, making the surrounding air oppressive and eerie. The area was immediately cordoned off, and just minutes later, a body was discovered, submerged in cold. Still water so silent, it seemed as if time itself had stopped. A team of divers was called, and when the body was recovered, everyone recognized the clothes Debanhi had worn on the day she went missing, and her father confirmed it was his daughter by the cross she was still wearing. The motel area had already been inspected at least 4 times since the start of the investigation, but this scene still sent chills through those present, with the dark water and heavy, oppressive atmosphere. The body had been submerged for nearly 2 weeks, severely decomposed, making identification almost impossible, and despite the presence of clothing and a few personal items, authorities had to use DNA testing to confirm her identity, creating a moment that was both horrifying and heartbreaking for all who witnessed it. After the body was transferred to the Samif O forensic office, an autopsy was conducted on April 22nd, and a few hours later, it was confirmed that the missing girl was indeed Debanhi Escobar. The cause of her death was determined to be severe head trauma, specifically a strong impact. According to initial reports, Debanhi was believed to have fallen into the water tank accidentally, at which time her phone stopped receiving signal. Previously, it was thought that the body showed no signs of external interference aside from bruising caused by the fall. But detailed examination revealed swelling and injuries around her forehead and both eyelids, with blood seeping into the tissues, indicating the severity of the head trauma from a strong impact, which became the cause of this tragic outcome. The version proposed at the time suggested that Debanhi may have jumped over the motel wall and accidentally fallen into the water tank. The tank measured at the base 2 feet 11 inches by 3 feet 3 inches and was 14 feet 6 inches deep, with a water level of 2 feet 11 inches, according to diagrams from the Institute of Criminology and Forensic Services. The issue with this hypothesis is that the wall was 7 feet 3 inches high, while Debanhi was 5 feet 6 inches tall, and the wall was surrounded by barbed wire fencing. If she had climbed over using an object, she would likely have had scratches or other injuries, possibly even broken bones, as the total height from the top of the wall to the bottom of the tank reached 21 feet 9 inches. If she fell head first, it would have been a strong impact, with internal head injuries typically very severe, potentially causing significant damage to the skull and brain tissues, and even affecting the neck area. One point to emphasize is that the water tank contained at least 2 feet 11 inches of water. Although this water level could have somewhat reduced the impact of a fall, the absence of water in the lungs is a crucial factor. If she had fallen from a significant height, her body would have struck the ground forcefully, and her natural reflexes would likely have caused her to inhale or swallow water for a few seconds, as she would still have been conscious upon impact. The forensic coordinator noted that the lack of water in the lungs indicates that she fell, then stood up and remained in that position until her passing, which does not align with drowning as the cause of death. In other words, she could not have died suddenly solely from a fall. If water had played a role, samples would need to be analyzed to confirm a match with the location where she was found. It was reported that Debanhi's body had been completely submerged in water for approximately 5 to 12 days and was in the second stage of decomposition, known as the bloating stage, which typically appears after about a week, depending on factors such as water temperature. Strangely, no foul odor was detected, not even by the search dogs. At the Nueva Castilla motel, there were 3 water tanks, one of which was covered. In the first tank, where the body was found, authorities discovered a pair of high-top Converse sneakers and a piece of tissue containing decomposing organisms. On the wall separating the first and second tanks, they found a woman's handbag with a red plastic box labeled 8 Play, a white bra, and 2 beige fabric pieces along with a black and white mask. In the second tank, they found a white and yellow lighter, 3 metal keys linked together by 2 key rings, a damaged mobile phone with a black case, a sparkling wallet, and a plastic container of hand sanitizer. What remains puzzling is why her personal belongings appeared in 2 different tanks, and notably, why she was not wearing the sneakers when found. Due to the level of decomposition, authorities faced significant difficulties in testing for toxins to determine whether she had traces of alcohol or any other stimulants. However, investigators discovered the presence of decomposing organisms, including insects and larvae, from which a forensic entomologist could extract DNA to detect traces of any substances. From the outside, the Nueva Castilla motel appeared abandoned and saw little traffic, situated on the Nuevo Laredo Highway, a major route from Monterrey to Tamaulipas and the United States, a road that had gained notoriety after hundreds of people went missing the previous year. Since no signs of climbing were found around the water tank area, it was believed that the only way Debanhi could have entered the motel was through the main entrance next to the restaurant, as the water tank area had no access to the road or vehicle entrances. 2 days after the body was found, footage from the Nueva Castilla motel was released, shocking many people because authorities had previously claimed that the cameras only monitored in real time and did not record. In the video presented by the prosecutor, a camera from the motel's restaurant captured 2 glass doors, one exterior door facing the highway, and one interior door near the water tank area where the body was later discovered. In this footage, Debanhi is seen entering the Nueva Castilla motel at 4:33 a.m., although the timestamp is off by about 2 minutes, showing 4:35 a.m. afterwards. A parking lot toll booth camera recorded her running around the restaurant area, approaching the interior door to look through the glass, finding it empty, then running to the corner of the restaurant, where she remained for approximately 20 minutes. By 4:54 a.m., she was seen running parallel to the motel's perimeter wall, marking the last official sighting of Debanhi and raising haunting questions about what happened next. Although later some users pointed out that in the restaurant camera, at the exterior door, a car could be seen parked with a person getting in, leading many to believe that Debanhi had actually left the motel and was picked up by someone. However, a few days later, the prosecutor confirmed that they had identified the vehicle and the person who got in at the motel. But after questioning, these individuals were cleared from the case. When authorities seized the video footage, the prosecutor requested that the entire motel complex be sealed as part of the investigation, leading to the area being cordoned off and closely guarded by state investigation agency personnel. Her father, Mario Escobar, noted that his daughter's body had been removed without him or his wife being present, raising further questions and unease surrounding the investigative process. Due to the inconsistencies in the versions and the hypothesis that this was an accident, Mario Escobar requested outside assistance to conduct a second forensic examination and compare the results with the first autopsy. Previously, a forensic anthropologist had been present at the initial examination, but did not note any irregularities. Many people questioned why Debanhi had left the car, which should have taken her home. Newly leaked footage to a national television channel showed the Didi driver behaving suspiciously toward Debanhi, including reaching his arm across her chest. As a result, many immediately hypothesized that Debanhi got out of the car because she felt harassed, offering a tense new perspective on her final moments. Then, on April 27th, following the accusations against him, the Didi driver, Juan David Cuellar, appeared before the media to present his version of events. Notably, he was not the driver initially thought by the public. In the interview, Juan David Cuellar denied harassing Debanhi and explained that the footage merely captured the moment he handed her a charging cable so she could recharge her phone, as it had run out of battery. During the interview, he also revealed conversations with Debanhi's friends and some recordings he made while she was still in the car, in which she said, "My parents deserve to know the truth." According to the driver, when she got into the car, Debanhi told him that the girls she had been with were bad friends because they refused to take her home, though she did not specify where she intended to go. She began to cry, and according to him, Debanhi appeared very tired and unstable, exhibiting actions and words that were difficult to understand, creating a tense atmosphere in that moment. David Cuellar stated that Debanhi had asked him to drop her off at another party up ahead. However, when they arrived, she did not want to get out, and they continued driving. The driver asked Debanhi to provide an address so he could take her home, but she refused. He then asked her friends for her mother's phone number, but Yvonne said she did not have it. While traveling on the highway toward Laredo, Debanhi suddenly requested the car to stop without explanation and stepped out, prompting him to try to persuade her to get back in, since she was standing on the roadside. He took and sent a photo that quickly spread on social media to her friends so they would know where he had dropped her off and could pick her up. After the interview, many questioned the driver's actions and behavior, as he was simultaneously in the car with Debanhi while communicating with colleagues about the situation, adding further suspicion and tension surrounding the case. Debanhi's two friends later appeared before the media in a television interview in Monterrey. They stated that Yvonne had known Debanhi for about 4 months through social media, while Sarai had only met her that evening, as Debanhi had messaged them saying she wanted to go to a party and already had multiple plans for the night. Yvonne said she agreed to go along, and Sarai, who worked at the same place, was also invited and agreed to attend. In the interview, they testified that during the party, Debanhi became very tense and aggressive, refusing any help and insisting that they leave her alone. They stated that she had an issue with a group of people trying to take her somewhere, after which she began behaving strangely. They suspected that something might have been slipped into her drink, as she had interacted with several groups of young people at the party. Debanhi suddenly ran out of Quinta El Diamante, and a group of young men tried to hold her back. Even Yvonne stepped in to help, but Debanhi remained aggressive, demanding that they leave her alone, emphasizing that her parents were lawyers and that she would pay if they allowed her to go out by herself. Because Debanhi became difficult to manage, they called a Didi driver to pick her up, having previously obtained his phone number because they trusted him. However, when the driver arrived, only Debanhi went with him, while Sarai and Yvonne rode in another car with a young man they had met at the party. After leaving, they made multiple calls to Debanhi's father between 3:59 and 4:30 a.m., but received no response. It was not until 8:35 a.m. that they were able to reach him to check whether Debanhi had returned home safely. That morning, they realized that Debanhi was missing, marking the beginning of the tense and mysterious hours that followed. Clearly, there are many fragmented details in the testimonies, creating a series of unanswered questions. One of these is why they told the driver that they did not have Debanhi's mother's phone number, yet later in messages claimed she did not respond. This discrepancy sparked confusion among the public, leading thousands to speculate, which only added to the uncertainty and, in some cases, resulted in judgments made without evidence. Hundreds of videos were shared across various platforms, from people claiming to know the truth, suspicious motel staff, prophetic statements, Debanhi's friends, mysterious details, and even conversations between Debanhi and Yvonne. Subsequently, a figure nicknamed El Jaguar emerged, believed to be connected to the taking of her life, creating a mysterious and haunting atmosphere surrounding the case. A notable detail that became a focus of the investigation was a promotional video for the Nueva Castilla motel uploaded with the song Para Poder Llegar a Ti in the video. The motel's facilities were showcased, and one shot focused on room 174, leading many to speculate that a staff member might be attempting to hint at what happened inside that room. As a result, Debanhi's father requested a new search at the Nueva Castilla motel lasting approximately 7 hours, during which investigators discovered some evidence and additional security cameras that had not yet been examined. At the request of Debanhi's parents, they thoroughly inspected room 174 for suspicious traces, including using Blue Star to detect red substances, and also checked the parking area, aiming to uncover the truth behind the mysteries surrounding the case. The prosecutor announced that 5 people present at the motel in the early hours of that day had been investigated, and also mentioned a white pickup truck that entered the Nueva Castilla motel just minutes after Debanhi stepped inside. In addition to this search, Debanhi's father requested a second search at the Alcosa Freight Company, because when Debanhi was last seen, she disappeared from the company's cameras and headed toward the motel, leaving a gap of about 9 minutes with no footage. The company reported that these video segments had been lost, making the missing minutes a potential key to clarifying the case, and investigators are now requesting the recovery of any footage that may have been deleted in order to find important clues. Then, on May 5th, at around 7:30 a.m., there was a report of the discovery of Debanhi Escobar's identification card, which had been lost approximately 2.5 months earlier during a theft. The card was found by a resident of Building 15 in the Condominios Constitucion complex, which had previously been searched, and was specifically located in one of the building's trash bins. However, this discovery did not provide any significant clues to clarify the outstanding details of the investigation up to that point. On May 12th, new information was leaked to the media, and Debanhi's father accused the Nuevo León prosecutor's office of exposing documents from the second forensic examination of Debanhi Escobar. The documents indicated that she had suffered multiple strong impacts to the head with a blunt object. The forensic doctor detailed bruises on both sides of her forehead, on her right and left eyelids, the left side of her nose, both lips, above the ear, and behind the right ear. These bruises were caused by external impact, with varying severity and angles, suggesting they were not accidental but potentially inflicted by another person, opening the hypothesis of a dangerous act directed toward her. Therefore, she had already passed away before falling into the water, as no fluid was found in her trachea or bronchi. Forensic records also indicated that her body had bruises and red fluid accumulation on the exterior areas, suggesting she had experienced a serious incident involving wrongdoing. At the same time, external impacts to the neck were ruled out, as no abnormalities were detected in the neck, carotid arteries, or hyoid bone. This case exposed numerous oversights by the authorities, leaving the public shocked and concerned about the lack of accountability. While it is unfortunate that such errors can still occur, It should also be noted that the complexity of many details in the case sometimes acts as a form of misdirection, making it even more difficult to uncover the truth. From these complex findings and developments, the Debanhi Escobar case continues to leave countless questions unanswered. Despite numerous searches, forensic analyses, and thorough investigations, the perpetrator has yet to be identified, and the case remains a haunting mystery for the public. And that is the full, tragic story of Debanhi Escobar, a young woman full of dreams, beautiful, and loved by many. This case is not only a tragedy, but also leaves a profound lesson for all of us. Always listen to your intuition. Pay attention to your own safety and that of those around you. And never ignore warning signs. Thank you for staying to follow today's story in this true crime documentary series. If you believe Debanhi deserves to be remembered, please share this video and leave a comment in her memory. Don't forget to subscribe and hit like to show your support. And we'll see you in the next stories.